they make companies bigger, they make investors richer, but isn't there a way that we can actually make the world better? There really is, and it's simpler than you think. There's so many ways to do it. Here's an inspiring story of a guy who's really making a difference, not in 100,000 lives, but in millions of lives. That's this episode of DevRadio. Hi, and welcome to the next episode of Microsoft Dev Radio. I'm Jerry Nixon, your host, and we have an exciting episode for you today, all the way from China. We have Xi Wang. He's a technical evangelist with DX right there. Xi, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Yeah. Now tell me, where are you exactly?
Actually, I'm in Shanghai. It's 8 o'clock, so I'm sitting in my home right now. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. I just made dinner and you just made breakfast, so it's perfect. I think. How long have you been with evangelism?
Actually, 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, as evangelist. Yeah.
So you have your 10-year trophy from Microsoft.
I have been in Microsoft for 15 years. So.
Wow. You have your 15-year trophy. I don't know if there is a 15-year trophy. We also have Zhejun Lui. She's in Beijing. She's also a technical evangelist. Zhejun, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Tell us a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, I'm Shi Jun, and I'm a technical evangelist from DX China, and I'm now based in Beijing.
What's it like in China today?
It's good. It's sunny today. Very good weather, and we have a good breakfast, and we'll start it with a good morning.
It's nice and sunny here too. So today we're going to be talking about Zion China, and this is a company that focuses on precision diabetes management tooling. And so this is going to be a very exciting project to talk about. The CEO of the company is here with us. That's Vincent Yang. Before we start talking about Zion China, Vincent, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about who you are.
Hi, my name is Vincent. I actually worked with Microsoft for 12 years, and from 96 to 2008. And after that, I have been doing 2 startups in China and mostly focused on healthcare informatics. And this company focuses on diabetes. It's a fantastic ride, and I really appreciate all the opportunity you guys help me and help the people in China.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk to me just a little bit more about Zion China. Where did you get the idea? When did we get started?
Okay, it's about 4 years ago. After I have done some work in the healthcare, and I started a second startup. At that time, one of my family friends and one of my classmates got serious problems with diabetes. One almost lost his eyesight. The other one has problem with her leg. And I just find out that it's so close to us. It's about 10% of the people, and the number is huge. Let me share with 2 slides with you and see how serious it is. There are 140 million people with diabetes in China, one of the largest in the world, about 1/3. And there's another serious problem is that there's 51.2% adults over age of 20 has prediabetes. And I find out that I myself is a prediabetes after I was doing this job. So this is a very personal journey for me. And about that, we find that the serious problem is that we got only 10.2% for the A1C, which means 90% of people will have serious complications within 15 years. They lost about 9 years in life expectancy. So that brings us about 102 million people. That's what I'm shooting for, and that's what we were trying to change. And
Terrific.
there was some serious problem with that, and fundamentally is that it's not just about the system, the everything. It's basically that's where the technology coming will make big difference and change. Let me show you this factor. Is that we after we were doing this one, we find that there's 3 key areas that barriers bring us down. One from the left lower side with personalization is that diabetes is a very personalized. Is that if I eat a meal, same as yours, but my glucose will be different. And
Right.
without the data about myself, without the data about my daily life, the doctor has no way to control me, right? That's the problem. But there is a big issue in China is that China do only have specialists. They do not have family doctor layer, or we call primary care layer.
Yeah.
So we got about 10,000 specialists taking care of about 140 million people. That's about 10,000 to 1.
Wow.
So every time we go to see them, we only get about 3 minutes to 5 minutes. They give us medicine, go home. And there's no way we can control. The data already show. That's one issue. The other thing is that when we do not control our lifestyle, the drug, the medicine alone will not change it. Because it's kind of balanced on the scale on both sides, right? One side go up, the other need to balance. And if we do not have control of the lifestyle, the diet and exercise to go with the proper prescription, it will not be controlled at all. 34% of the senior people in China lost their body mass, in the sense that they lost their mass, therefore their body lost reservoir for the insulin and the glucose. So the glucose level will go up and down because they will become too skinny.
Yeah.
So that's something that we will take in another part into the equation is the lifestyle control. Then above all, we have to empower people to do the right thing, to control themselves. That's called compliance. And we need to make them understand how the glucose change and how to change, how they will change their lifestyle and see the result. Let me show you one thing about our product. Yeah, now let me show you what the wonderful idea we have is that, look at this one.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it.
This small device is called continuous glucose monitoring system. It will measure my glucose one reading every 3 minutes, 480 a day, and 3,000 for over a week. And now it will come to my cell phone, and it will show here.
So Vincent, this is fascinating. So you describe what really is a crisis. So many people suffering from diabetes, but so many of those suffering in a very serious way, and a shortage of doctors to be able to give them a full scope of treatment. Now along comes Zion China, and you give them an opportunity almost to kind of be their own doctor, monitor some of their own status.
Not just that, it's that we build a way to connect people, connect doctor with the patient, connect doctor with the healthcare giver, and include nurse and nutritionist and exercise trainers and so on. And they will be able to show my glucose.
I can see
here.
it,
Look.
yeah.
So this one, my mobile phone will have my data 3 minutes after that, and after 6 minutes the data will go to the Microsoft cloud, and my doctor will be able to see my readings and be able to give prescriptions and so on. So this is the way that we will enable the doctor to see the data in my daily life and build a system. And above all, we will be able to have machine learning to digest this data and do much more.
Vincent, this is really fascinating. Can you explain to me how patients are benefiting from this.
Okay, let me show you what we have in our product and how it leverages Microsoft technology to benefit the customer. One thing is that look at this data. Our product is called eFollow-up. So basically, we have 6 modules that help us to tackle these challenges. Is that if we use the traditional fingerprint, we got the data from this same person. It's in the above. We only have dots, and we see that this guy is in perfect shape. However, if we have glucose curve there, we will see that this guy's glucose go up and down, almost in we call it very dramatic changes. So you can see that we need to do a lot of things to help them. But for each of the wave, if we analyze this one, we can have a lot of clinical readings, meanings about this one. For example, this person have a pattern that his glucose after the meal will be lower than the glucose before the meal. So for this person, it's very easy to develop what we call hypoglycemia, which is very dangerous for that person at night. So at that time, if we know this one, we will be able to predict their patterns and predict the risk for the hypoglycemia. And we will be able to prescribe just a glass of milk before going to bed, and it solves the problem. And for this one, we work with Microsoft to use machine learning to predict, to learn, and classify this patient so that we will treat them differently. And after that, with the module, which is that we tell them what to do. We not just measure them, we read them, and we go back to the tons of the thesis, tons of the previous studies, and get the results out and tell them, what kind of progress they have in their journey, and what's the risk for the hyper and hypoglycemia, and whether their prescription is right, or how they were going to change the diet plan, and how they will change their exercise plan so that they will be better. 15 to 30% of the patients find out that they were in serious problem, and they said, okay, just help me solve it. So we work with doctors to build a program for 3 months. So we will give them a complete checkup, specifically focused for diabetes. Then we have 7 days monitoring, and we give them a prescription and also give them a kind of like a personalized diabetes treatment plan and follow them for 3 months. At the end of 3 months, we give them another checkup. At that time, we will see that how much progress they are in, and whether they were in control. And for the visualization one, we can see that within the app, they will be able to see their glucose change curve instantly. And they will see that what it costs, that they will see that, okay, because I eat a meal, it go up so much. After meal is so high, they were totally shocked. Then they will see that, even though I take the same prescription, but when I eat different meal, my glucose will be different. So they know that the cost of the up and down is led by the meal. Realize they were empowered to make change. And at the end, we tell them what to do and show them that, okay, follow us. This is the right way to do it. And if you do this one, you will get it right. And they were very happy to do it. And they will be they will be able to enjoy their life much more. The things that they were afraid to eat, they were free to eat. And they will have more exercise, more energized. And they were kind of like empowered and energized. And they will feel that they were in control for their life.
Well, I tell you, it's so meaningful to be able to come up with a product that improves people's lives, but even more so to be able to help so many people. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Talk to me just a little bit. This is important to be able to solve a problem like this, but solving a problem like this isn't easy. Talk to me just a little bit about the challenges of being able to solve this. Talk to me just maybe a minute about what's on your arm. What is that device made out of? Okay,
the device is it's medical device approved by FDA and also SFDA. In the US, the typical one is Dexcom. Basically, it's called continuous glucose monitoring. The technology has been out for 20 years. It's basically have something implant in micro needles implant to your skin, under the skin just a little bit, about 4 millimeters under it, and it will be able to read it for continuously for about 7 days. Within the 7 days, they continually monitoring and take the reading average out for about 3 minutes. And for that, after that, you will see that all these things, they will be able to read these readings and make adjustment for your plan. And let me show you some of the results they have is that for the first person, they never realized that they were totally in red. Basically, this guy is totally out of control. He is definitely going to get complication very soon. But within this one, in the third day, we find out, we give them, convince him, go back to a doctor and make change. You can see that instantly at the fourth day, it's back in control. And his A1C dropped from 11.1 to 7.9% within 3 months. For every 1% it dropped, the death rate dropped 21% over 20 years. So this guy, about 50% drop in the death rate. And the second person, the circle one is the first meal. When he got this one, he saw that the meal was, it's not right. Then we changed to oatmeal. It becomes the yellow one. Insulin drop to in control. And the third one is that this person refused to take medicine. And it's my classmate, actually, my high school classmate. I talked to him personally for 30 minutes, showing him the result, explained to him, and he take on insulin. And immediately, his rate back to 6.1. 6.0 is the normal healthy people. He's almost back to healthy people level. And you can see that the fourth one is that we also find some people, they were so high that we saw our device was wrong. But immediately we asked them take it using the finger prick one and find that they were dangerous at 26, which about, I believe is about over 500 in the US scale. And we send him immediately to emergency. Because he is in the risk of collapsing at any time. So these are the way that we got so many people, so many data, and we need to read this one every 3 minutes. That's the reason we need a very robust system. And we turn to Microsoft. For Microsoft Cloud, that we need to collect this data. We need to collect a lot of data. We got 100 million patients there, and we need to build a system that can support us. And we need to read this one, we need online read and, all these things. We need to get this data to doctor immediately. So that's the thing. The other thing is that we need to visualize, show this one to patient. So we need Power BI. And the thing is that when the biggest difficult for me is scalability. When we first do this one, in the beginning, we spend about 4 hours to 8 hours for each person to analyze 7-day data and give them a report and personalized plan. And with Microsoft machine learning help, we drop it to 1 hour now.
Wow.
And within 2 years to 3 years, I need to make it 3 minutes to 10 minutes. Make 90% to 95% done by machine learning. By that time, I will drop to 1,000 renminbi, which is about 150 for 7 days for the market price. Then I will make a change. I will make the change in the whole country in control rate. We aim to shoot 10%, raise it to 30%, 40% to impact those many people. I believe that with the help, we can do it.
Okay, I can see the architecture here. And Xi, I know you were involved on a technical level, of course, as a technical evangelist. Help me understand what I'm looking at here. What is this architecture diagram showing?
Okay. Actually, this is a diagram of the architect. After actually we work with Vincent team for 8 months.
Okay.
But at the very beginning, the patient, the device, these things are unchanged. But all the left things, how the data connected to the backend, everything has no related to Microsoft technology. When we, at the beginning, we engage with Vincent team. Vincent said we all use open source, all other technologies. We has no interest on Microsoft technology. Right?
Okay.
So the interesting is why we all switch to Microsoft technology. First, we introduced Azure machine learning. At that point, Vincent team already aware that the AI technology is a breakthrough point for them to scale out, to cut the cost, to speed up the prediction.
Yeah.
So they evaluate several options, include Dr. Watson, and we show them the Microsoft Azure Machine Learning Studio. They see how easy to use them. Even they don't have a lot of data scientists, they can use Machine Learning Studio to build their solution. So they quickly adopt that solution. You see, actually, this is it's the analytic part. Then they find that the machine learning can connect with Power BI very easily. So they adopt Power BI. Later, the most difficult part is that they need to move the data into the cloud. Previously, Winston team have a lot of different type of database. It's a very hyper connection. So we introduce them the easy of use of Azure SQL DB, and the most important, the security feature of the Azure SQL DB. How easy it can be configured. So they import the data into the Azure SQL DB. Of course, no patient's data.
Right.
So after that, finally, actually the sequence is reversed sequence. We introduce the analytic and the presentation first, then the database first. Then they see that they need to translate, transition the data directly to Microsoft Cloud. So they find they need IoT.
Wow, so, what a path to get there, all starting with how approachable ML Studio is, and using machine learning to be able to really push their ability to serve their customers that much more. That is fascinating. Talk to me about the difficulties. Things like this aren't always easy to implement. Talk to me a little bit about the challenges that you ran into as you were moving forward.
Oh, yes. First, Vincent just introduced that his device collected 7 days real-time glucose data to his database or his server. So needs some way to fulfill this requirement. And as he introduced, and our IoT hub can implement is fast and flexible and cost-effective way to collect data real time to his servers or directly into Azure SQL Stream Analytics, and then to Azure SQL Database. So he his product use Azure IoT Hub as its data feeding ways. And then when we engaged with Vincent and Ziyang China, we found some difficulties when we integrated the Azure IoT Hub in China to their devices, because in Azure China, there's a different way to integrate integrated Azure IoT Hub. First, the endpoint is different. Because we have a separated cloud in China, so we have to maybe research how the endpoint is like in China, and so this is what our technical evangelists help them. And then we also found that when we integrated the Azure IoT Hub, the Android SDK, and the LS SDK into their devices, that we found the certificate is different. So yes, because it's securely connecting the devices and collecting the data. So we need the certification to secure the data, and the certificate is different in Azure China. So and that is a very difficult question. So we asked the question in internal Microsoft and get the correct certificate from a product team, and then we integrate the correct certificate into their Android and iOS program, and then we get Azure IoT Hub work. And so these are the two problems when we integrate the IoT Hub SDK into the devices. And yes.
Wow, so where it sounded like this was going to be a straightforward implementation and so easy, you had extra steps you had to go through, partly because the Azure cloud is separate in China, and partly because the root server is different in China than it is for us, for example.
Yeah, I have to add that they were doing a fantastic job, and they helped us tremendously along the way. Without them, I will not be able to complete this journey. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Yeah, I own you guys a lot, and own Microsoft a lot.
Well, we're lucky to be part of it. And well, Xi, let me ask you about the next steps. I know that there are some technologies that are already introduced in part of this solution. What do you think the next steps for this solution would be?
Okay. So the next step, I think the first thing is about the involvement of the AI part, the machine learning part. So currently, the Winston team is still improving the machine learning algorithm. I think that part we still have a lot of room to improve. The second, I think, very important is co-sell part. Because for Microsoft, we're working with SV. It's not only the technical part. We want to help more people to know them in China or globally because the solution and the product is so meaningful and helpful. Yeah.
Isn't it rewarding to be part of a project that is creating so much benefit for people?
That's definitely, it's one of my best, I don't want to see one of, it's definitely the most rewarding project, in my life with Microsoft, so many times when Vincent talking on stage about the solution, I cannot help my tears, really, yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. I mean, it's just something is great about it. Vincent, what a terrific product you have, and the opportunity to introduce some of these technologies so that you're not talking about helping 100 people or 1,000 people. You're not even talking about 10,000 or 100,000 people. And in a normal IoT world, 100,000 endpoints is big. You're talking about millions of potential patients that will be submitting data, being able to use this background system so that they can start to really be able to evaluate what's going on. You don't even make their life better. You're saving lives in a lot of senses. This is really an amazing solution that you've come up with. What's the next step now for Zion China?
I think that now we just get a core technology up and we prove it, prove the data, and prove the clinical result, and prove the business model that can build and sell. But the next phase, we were going to sell it commercially, and we were going to scale it out. And at this time, we can see that diabetes is a big thing. It's not just about our company. It's much more than that. For the U.S. alone, for example, the diabetes-related disease costs about 24% of the overall health care. which
Wow.
is about 4% of the GDP for USA. In China alone, it's because they only count the diabetes alone, not the complication. So it's about 10 to 13% of the overall healthcare, and which is about 330 billion renminbi for now. So it's not just about us, it's include a pharmaceutical company, a whole industry, include diets and food industry and exercise industry. I can see that they all can benefit from machine learning. They can all benefit from connected data and connected system. And we were just the one that going to evangelize this technology and also have more people work together. And we see that Microsoft probably can make much more impact in the healthcare by empower more products like us, not just diabetes, not hypertension, not any other disease that we can see. This will be the time. This is the time that all this machine AI and everything will come to a place that actually help people. I'm amazed and very excited for this age. And I think that you guys doing a fantastic job. I really appreciate it.
Well, I have to tell you, a problem this big that needs to be solved really does take a lot of people, a lot of companies, a lot of different solutions coming together to solve it in a big way. Now, Xi, I love seeing technical evangelists working on awesome projects like you. You and Shejun are just really, you're doing the good work, aren't you? That it's neat to be part of these projects. It's neat to leverage technologies that really work, that really do solve problems. This has been an inspiring call. Thanks for being on the call today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.